Wow. Well, we can just play it off. I don't know. It's not so important. One minute. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that. Are we on YouTube?
We are on YouTube. Check.
Yeah, we're live. We're live.
And here comes the fellas.
Here comes
What's
the
up,
people.
Chris? What's up, Sean? Alex? Tim Gonzalez? Welcome to the Church of the Alamo City Sportscast.
That's right. My name's Mike Jimenez. That is Joe Garcia. This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from beautiful San Antonio, Texas, home of the Riverwalk, home of your San Antonio Spurs, home of the Spurs Coyote. You know, it's kind of a down day for me today. Spurs lost last night, 114-101. I was at the game, Joe. We talked about this yesterday. Was I going to go because Wemby was questionable going into the game? Game time decision. 1 o'clock rolled around. I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, let's just get in the car and go.
There you go.
So we'll talk about the whole trip that happened along the way. But I had a fantastic time over there. And right now, if you want to show everybody on the screen the Jeremy Sohan apology form, am I going to sign that? Now, I was live tweeting from the Toyota Center there in Houston yesterday about this. And when he got into that scuffle with Amen Thompson, I had never cheered for Jeremy Sohan so much in my entire life.
Kick his ass, Jeremy.
Kick his ass, Jeremy. That was me. I'm glad that you recognize that was my voice. So we'll talk about all that happened last night. Wemby had an off night, got into foul trouble. Alperen Sengun played out of his mind yesterday. Did he find out what the kryptonite is for Victor Wembanyama? Are other teams going to emulate what Sengun did to avoid getting swatted all the time by Wemby? You might look at Wemby and go, well, Wemby had 6 blocks. True. But Alperen Sengun was 19 for 32. He made 19 shots. A lot happened to that game. And to watch it from the vantage point that I was at, this is not me saying I'm a baller or humble bragging or anything like that, but I sat on the 5th row yesterday and had a fun time out there. Bunch of Spurs fans were at that game, hoping to see the Spurs win their 3rd in a row, but it didn't happen. Spurs fall to 13-49 on the season. We're going to ask the question. Joe has a question about whether or not the Spurs are on the clock because apparently Steven Jackson, former Spur, is talking about the team again and whether or not the Spurs are on the clock when it comes to keeping Wemby. No, we can't disregard him because people give me crap on social media saying, Jimenez, did you ever play ball? Well, I only trust people who play ball, right? And guess what? Steven Jackson played ball. Not only did he play ball, he played for the Spurs. He played for Pop. But we're going to disregard him because we don't like what he has to say, right? So it's kind of like Spurs fans right now are like those who follow politics, where you watch MSNBC or you watch Fox News Channel based on the biases that you already have. If you believe that in Pop we trust, you're only going to trust the media that says what Pop says, right? Others who think the other way are going to trust what other people are saying.
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I got a good bit. I'm going to make a commercial like they do for politics when you see it on TV. And I'm going to put all this stuff on there. Just funny, right? Just for fun. And I'm going to put that little excerpt of you saying that you don't trust Wemby. And I'll come up and I say, I'm Joe Garcia. and I endorsed
I
his
did
message.
By the way, and if you backtrack, when I said I didn't trust Wemby, what did I say the exact sentence before that? I said I don't trust any member of the Spurs when it comes to what they say to the media because it's all public relations. And I'm not going to rehash that because it's true. And I asked that question on Twitter. Do NBA athletes, do professional athletes say what they really think to the media? And 90% of those who responded to my poll said no. So more people agree with me when it comes to it all. We're going to get into the bracket baddies, the baddie brackets. The old school crushes came to an end. One of mine, the one that I would have voted for, got eliminated.
Oh.
And I think she got eliminated because people don't know her real name. They know her by her stage name, not her real name. And I think it did her in. So we're going to get into that. I have a new poll on MJ Acquired Taste on Twitter about the wrestling hotties. I had been doing them during the nighttime, but now I'm going to release these polls for our baddie brackets during the morning time so that they expire by the time our show starts. Okay. So today it's the wrestling baddies, and people are already at it. I'm interested to see how many people vote for the wrestling ones because, when I go out there and I put down, Tiffany Amber Thiessen versus Lacey Chabert, and I'll say we get 100 and some odd votes come in right away.
Yeah.
The wrestling ones, do people really watch this enough, or is it going to be just 30 votes? Because if it says just 30 or 40 votes, I think that's going to say a lot. But if it says 150 votes, I'm going to be more respectful of wrestling fan when it comes to that. Again, you can be part of the show right now on our YouTube stream. Again, subscribe to us. This morning, woke up. We have 731 subscribers.
Got 2 more.
Really? So what are we at, 733?
No, we got 731, I think.
731, yeah. So now we are off and running. Again, we are exclusive on YouTube right now, but later on in the day on all the major podcast platforms like Spotify and iHeart app and all that stuff. We're also live right now on our new website, the Alamo City Podcast Network.com. So go ahead and check that out. But let's talk about last night. So last night, going to the Spurs game, it's about 1:30 or so. I told my dad, let's just get in the car. Let's go to I-10 East all the way over there. And I thought I was going to get stuck in traffic. And you don't know when it comes to Houston, right? Houston traffic is the worst. I get to Houston, and there's no traffic all the way to the Toyota Center. Not 1 mile of traffic. Now, it's slowed down towards downtown, but I never stopped. The worst I ever got, Joe, was going 30, 35 miles an hour.
That's it.
That's as slow as it got. And I made my way into the Toyota Center. And when I got there, I thought to myself, I'd never been there before. I don't know if you've ever been there, Joe, but I thought it was going to be like a cathedral because you go to Houston or you go to Dallas to watch the Cowboys play or the Texans play, they are cathedrals. And then we walk into the Alamo Dome and we're like, what is this pile of crap, right?
What is this piece of shit, that Joe Pesci meme?
Yes. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go into this palace of a place because I've been to the crypto. Yeah. I've been to the Forum in LA.
You've been to some nice places.
I've been to the one in Philadelphia, and those are really nice. Dude, the Toyota Center is the exact same as the Frost Bank Center. I was like, wow, I thought this was going to be nicer, but it wasn't.
It was Marbach nice?
It was Marbach nice. It was West Houston. It was East Houston nice. It was basically the city of San Antonio. Jason Garcia, I do realize the Cowboys are in Arlington, but again, we don't call them the Arlington Cowboys. We call them the Dallas Cowboys. Again, that's part of the YouTube stream. So I get over there and I see nothing but silver and black jerseys. Find that to be fascinating, right? Get to the game. It's about an hour and 15 before tip-off. And as I was going over to Houston, I started checking my phone to see, what the dollar amounts were going to be, the prices for some of these tickets. I think because Wemby was listed as questionable, the ticket prices were low, right? And I went on Ticketmaster, and I pulled over to Buc-ee's, and I pulled over to another gas station. I'm just checking the prices, and I'm like, okay, it's looking like $75-$80 for a ticket for lower bowl, $25 a ticket for upper bowl, including the fees.
75 is not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad.
So, but that was going to be row 35, row 30. It's still lower bowl, but whatever. So I get there, and if you've ever gone on SeatGeek, and I'm not the biggest fan of SeatGeek, but one thing that they do have that I do like is they have what's called the deal score, where they rate it between 1 and 10, and they go like, this is a 9.1 deal, this is an 8.3, a 5.4. And when I say that, they're saying, don't buy these tickets because you're being ripped off. I saw one that was a 9.1, 9.2 scale, and it was lower level, 5th row. And they wanted $150 per ticket, 150. You include the fees, you include all of that. It was going to be like $365. And I was like, total,
yeah,
for both tickets.
Okay, not bad.
And I was like, okay, cool. But I'll wait till I get there because I didn't want to buy the tickets until I got to the arena because I didn't know if I was going to be stuck in traffic. Get to the arena, I'm walking, I pull up, I pay for my parking, which, by the way, was only $5 and $10 over there.
Jeez, $20 here to park in no man's land. Dude, on the other side of the arena.
Getting in and out of the Toyota Center was super easy. I want the city of San Antonio and the Spurs to go to the Toyota Center and go, how did they do this traffic going in and out? Because there was no parking lot that I saw. There was no like big-ass parking lot that goes on for acres. It was just basically city parking all over the place. Park on the street, park on this, that, and the other. So I'm looking at the SeatGeek app, and it said that it went from a 9.2 to a 10.0. And I was like, I got to see how much these
10.0, wow,
fifth row seats go. I'd never see 10.0. I clicked on it, Joe, with fees. My dad and I sat on the 5th row with fees and taxes.
Yeah.
2 tickets for $210.
Damn, that's cheap, bro.
It was $75 a ticket. When you add the fees and the taxes and all that, made it $105 a ticket. It was $210 total.
Hey, they got a question for you here, man. Our good friend here, Tim Gonzalez. How's the food at the Toyota Center? Was the popcorn any better?
The popcorn was better. And there was a nice guy that sat behind me who had the charter level, the charter club like we went to.
Oh, yeah.
And he had that ticket for it, and he gave me the ticket. He goes, dude, I don't want to go back there today. So he gave me and my dad those tickets because he had his kids with him, and he didn't want to take his kids over there because there's a lot of drinking going on. So I went over there, got to go hang out over there in the Houston Rockets version of it. It was pretty cool, but the Spurs fell 114-101. My dad was like, Mijo, we're so close. I feel like they're going to ask us to shoot the free throws. and when we were going, I didn't tell him the seats that we got. I just said, we're in section 101, and we got lower and lower and lower. My dad just kept looking at me like, we get to keep going. We get to keep going. It was so cool. What a great experience with my dad, driving 6 hours, kind of having conversations the entire time, listening to music. It was amazing. But great arena, not fancy at all. It is basically the Frostbank Center.
No frills.
Well, it was cute. There were some nice areas there. The only time I pissed off a Houston Rockets fan yesterday was when this guy wore a Tracy McGrady jersey in front of me, 2 rows in front of me. And I said, dude, I love your jersey. Spurs legend Tracy McGrady. And he looked back at me and he goes, y'all should have won him that chip in 13.
Oh, that was a good comeback.
That was great. That was great. But here's the thing, man. Spurs last night lost 114-101. You know, sitting at the vantage point that I had on the 5th row was a great experience. I've sat down there before. You and I sat in the 5th row the other day.
Yeah.
It's a different experience when you're down there. And the one takeaway that I'm going to have from this game last night is that the officials do not believe that Victor Wembanyama is a superstar. Because if he was treated as a superstar like Giannis and Jokic, Edwards, any of these big players, Embiid, LeBron, the Rockets would not have been able to have manhandled him the way that they did yesterday. What I saw in that game last night, standing in the 5th row, just sitting right there, steaming, fuming because referee number 58, the 58 number on him, dude, I was yelling at him. I started screaming, what is this WWE shit where you're just standing there pretending like none of this is happening? Wemby is trying to get to a spot offensively, right? He's trying to get to a spot. Yeah. There's a certain part of the point of the court that he wants to begin to play at, right? The Rockets players, whether it be Dylan Brooks, Sengun, Jabari Smith were all allowed to grab Wemby and push him out of the way to get him away from his starting position. They two-handed moved him, not, try to block him out or anything. They physically removed him play after play after play out of his comfort area. Even before the ball was even put into play, they were allowed to push him all the way through. And it was so frustrating because last night the Spurs played very sloppy. The Spurs had a ton of turnovers. Half of them were legit turnovers in the fact that, the Spurs just got sloppy with it. 18 turnovers compared to just 5 for the Rockets. That was the reason why they lost last night. But beyond all that, the Rockets were playing as though it was the mid-90s, early 2000s, where they were hacking away, and the Spurs did not respond in kind. The Spurs played soft last night.
They got bullied, man.
They got bullied. And part of me was upset because, dude, there was one play midway through the fourth quarter where Wemby was literally bear hugged by Dylan Brooks. Bear hugged. And I am screaming at the official, you can't effing tell me that you don't see that.
Oh, they see it.
He was bear hugged by Dylan Brooks. And they're looking back, looking for the call. Keldon Johnson, always looking for the call. Devin Vassell, Malachi Branham, forever looking for the call. Trey Jones, begging for the call. And my thing about it is this. The Spurs played soft because the Spurs should have looked at each other and said, we need to adapt to this. Pop should have said, we need to adapt to this, and we need to make sure that we're playing just as physical as they are, because if they're going to do it to us, we're going to do it to them. And the Spurs didn't do that.
Coach Pop should have called a timeout, got all the guys in the huddle, and in the infamous words of my friend Chris Leja, he should have just said, fuck them, we ball.
Yeah.
Go out there and do your shit.
Do something. And we saw during the game, if you can go to my screen here, this dust up here.
There you go. We got audio too.
Jeremy Sohan tripping Amen Thompson. And
Thompson.
Jeremy not taking any of that crap. They had to be separated. Flagrant foul, technical foul. Jeremy Sohan
just like Thanksgiving.
throwing kisses.
He was your hero last night?
Wait, this might be a little too loud, by the way.
Yeah, you can turn it down.
Thompson.
You have the ability to do so.
Well, I'm going to drop all that because that was a little bit loud there. Let me see if I can lower it this way. But what ended up happening last night was Sohan at least stood up for himself when it came to it all. And you know how I've been critical of Jeremy Sohan throughout the past year and a half or so. But when I look at Jeremy Sohan, I felt yesterday, because I was in the opponent's arena, like I needed to support my guy. It's kind of like whenever you have family members, you might be talking crap to a family member and you might think that that's okay. But if somebody else that's outside of your family does it,
yeah,
you get pissed off.
Yeah.
Well, that was me. I was out there. I felt like I was in enemy territory because I was. And I had my phone out and I took this video. I zoomed in, and I'll play the audio on this, and we can play it louder if we can. But this is my reaction. By the way, that guy with the McGrady jersey was the one who I said Spurs legend, Tracy McGrady.
You can turn it louder if you want.
That's as loud as it gets over here.
Well, you have to do it on the other screen when you, right there in the main audio, the bottom right-hand corner.
But we saw, okay, so here I'm looking at this video here. That's me taking the video of Jeremy blowing the kisses. And I'm screaming, he blew him a kiss.
No. I heard something else too during that video. I heard.
Here it is.
He blew him the kiss. I'm gonna sign the damn form. Here you go. You're a man of action.
I'm gonna rewind that one more time. He blew him a kiss. I'm screaming.
I'm gonna sign the damn form.
I'm gonna sign the damn form.
I love the fact that it was zoomed in on my face when I turned it to myself, by the way.
Man, you gotta warn somebody, bro.
Dude, I had zoomed into the play itself, but Garrett reaches out to us on the YouTube stream over here, coming in from the Netherlands. saying classic reaction from Mike LOL. Give me the damn form. Give me a pen.
You gonna sign it now?
Give me a pen. Let's go full screen $2. Let's go full screen $2.
Oh,
You did
Lord,
that
I did
again.
that. There you
Dollar. Okay. So because Jeremy did not play soft yesterday, let's see here. I have the apology form. Okay. The Jeremy Sohan apology form. So, well, I got to find out reasons for behavior. Okay. So it says from, let's go ahead and put my name here. Michael MJ
Jimenez.
acquired
Skip Menace.
taste Jimenez, also known as AKA Skip Jimenez. Today's date is 3/6/2024. Reason for behavior. The media convinced me he was bad. No, he
Yes,
was
the media
inconsistent.
convinced you he was bad, Mike.
I didn't watch all the actual games. Well,
True.
I watched almost all of them.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know basketball. I
True.
only looked at his free throw form. I was jealous of Jeremy and his hair.
Yeah,
NBA
you were
Twitter nerds
jealous.
Who've never touched the ball in their lives convinced me he was a bust. I'm gonna put down my own box.
Look at this one. I like Joe Gonzalez. Check that box. You were jealous, vato.
Inconsistency. That's what I'm gonna check it out. But I'm gonna put down not soft. So I'm gonna check mark that.
That's why you're gonna sign the
And
form.
that's why I'm gonna sign it, because he wasn't soft. Michael Jimenez, March 6, 2024, has signed the Jeremy Sohan apology
I'm
form.
gonna frame that.
Now, I don't want Jeremy to be the point guard. I don't want Jeremy to be the number 2 guy on the team. I want him to be what he's been doing recently, which is the four spot, right? We now know the hierarchy. It's Wemby, it's Vassell, it's sometimes Keldon, and then Sohan is 4th option. But he showed grit yesterday. He didn't back down. And a lot of Spurs fans right now are there saying, well, he didn't trip on Man Thompson on purpose. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
It was an accident.
I want
Mike.
him to say, because if you're saying that it's an accident, you're saying that Sohan didn't step up.
We did, Matt
Lerner, Richard out. We did it.
We did it. There's the signature.
You know what? We should have had the streamers and the balloons fall from the.
Oh, you know what?
ceiling.
I could do something for us.
Oh, we're
real
gonna have
quick.
graph. We're gonna have.
All right, here we go. Since you signed the form, we have it here.
Yeah.
Mike did sign the form.
Fireworks. He was the only one who stepped up and had balls yesterday. I hate to say it, man, because it was a brutal game. And I know he had the worst plus minus, but that wasn't it, man. He had 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, but he had the shove and the flagrant foul. And that was it. It was a 1-point game at the time.
Jason Garcia, wow, 1 game and you signed the form. He needs to show that all season. You're just giving out participation trophies.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But my goodness, I know he stepped up to Amen Thompson, but someone needed to step up to Alperen Sengun, because last night he went out for 45 points, 16
Jeez,
rebounds, 5 steals, 45 points, career high, 5 steals, career high. He also had 3 assists. And yeah, he got stuffed by Wemby about 5 times, but he was 19 for 32. And I'm going to tell you what Sengun was doing yesterday that was fascinating to watch. And it was frustrating because, you know, Sengun was the guy that I wanted in the draft a few years ago when we got Joshua Primo instead. Sengun was going out there doing these drop steps, and he found himself underneath the basket time and time again. You know, Wemby's going to block your shot if you're going at it from 3 to 5 feet away. But if you're under the basket, Wemby cannot block you very well because the rim gets in the way. One thing I also learned about Wemby is that he likes to block with his right hand more than his left.
No,
And Sengun was going towards the left. We get Wemby underneath the basket, drops up underneath the basket, then go left.
Sengun was throwing elbows last night.
Yeah, chicken wings.
Yeah.
All over the place, man. Wemby did get into foul trouble. He got his 4th foul early in the 3rd quarter. Spurs hung tough, though, by the way. The Spurs were within 3 points going into the 4th quarter, and I was getting amped up. I started chanting, Wemby's coming back. Wemby's coming back. But then the officials allowed him to be manhandled the rest of the way. But, man, Sengun was something that I don't think that other teams can emulate what he did, because Sengun has a certain style of play that you can't mimic, man. He is a very odd rhythmically playing guy. He goes at a rhythm that is different than most others. He's like a pitcher that doesn't throw a fastball, but does a lot of curveballs, does a lot of changeups. He looks like Greg Maddux out there as a basketball player, not as a baseball pitcher, but he was just throwing awkward speeds out there, and he was using the rim as a weapon against Wemby. Wemby can't block you if he's having to go through the rim to block you.
True enough, man.
And Sengun was going out there. Yeah, he was a little bit dirty, but out of all the guys out there, I didn't think he was the most dirty. Van Vliet was dirty.
Oh.
Jabari Smith was dirty. Dylan Brooks is a dirty guy. Dylan Brooks was out there. Okay, look at the difference between the two. Dylan Brooks,
You got
0 points, 3 rebounds, right? 0 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals in 36 minutes. You might look at that and think to yourself, he didn't do anything out there. No, he set the tone. He set the tone of physicality out there. We had a guy out there on the Spurs roster who had a very similar stat line in Julian Champagny of 0 points, 2 rebounds. Champagny was out there getting cardio. Dylan Brooks was out there setting the tone. And it was frustrating to see that the officials were allowing this physicality and the Spurs did not match up to it.
Yeah.
And Wemby was getting his fouls, and he was biting on, I hate to say it this way. Wemby doesn't have to go after every block.
He doesn't, but it's good that I like the effort.
But you're going to get in foul trouble from time to time. Chris Gonzalez reached out to us on our YouTube stream saying Wemby was out there playing 90s ball using old man moves. Dude, I mean, he was underneath the basket. It was all about positioning. He got underneath the basket time and time again. Again, if you're trying to shoot it from 5 feet or from 10 feet, Wemby's going to block that crap. But if you're under the basket and you have a choice between going left or right, Wemby's either going to foul you or he's going to be obstructed by the rim. And we saw that time and time again.
Look, we got another comment here by David Atwater.
Zach Collins was booty crumbs again, says David Atwater. I'm tired of Zach Collins. That might be the worst contract the Spurs have done in the last 5 to 10 years.
He's terrible, man. Terrible.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even be the second option on most teams. He'd be the third or fourth. He's horrible.
He's awful, man. And then we also saw the limitations of Trey Jones, the difference between having a good point guard versus the bad point guard. The difference. Okay, let me reel that back in. Trey Jones is not a bad point guard.
He's not.
He's just a guy. He's a decent point guard.
He's a backup.
He's a very good backup.
Yeah.
But when you see Trey Jones trying to go up against Van Vliet, Fred Van Vliet yesterday, you could tell the pedigree. You can tell how much better of a guy he is, a player he is. 21 points, 10 assists last night.
They're not the same.
They're not the same. And for those of you out there who are saying that the Spurs are should be playing positionless basketball, like all that stuff. No, dude, we need a Van Vliet kind of guy. Now, I don't want to pay somebody $35 million for that, but the fact of the matter is that there is a difference in how a team functions when you have a very good point guard out there. Now, the Rockets are a different team at home than on the road, and the Spurs are going to play them next week here at the Frost Bank Center, and I expect the Spurs to play a lot better.
Hopefully more physical, because look at what Tavares says here.
Tavares says Udoka outcoached Pop. I mean, we have the better player in Wemby, but there's a lot of talent there on that Rockets team. There really is. Now, speaking of talent, by the way, we need to have a quick little conversation about my estranged son, Malachi Branham.
No.
Because Malachi Branham, dude, it's been like 2 weeks. And I know it's just 2 weeks. And I know players like Lonnie Walker have had stretches of 2 weeks where they've played good games. But Malachi Branham's looking like an NBA player out there. Malachi Branham last night coming off the bench, 26 minutes, 8 of 14 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3, 20 points. Malachi Branham, my man, he's doing very well these days. Last 10 games, Malachi Branham averaging 12.6 points per game, knocking down threes at a 45.5% clip in the last 10 games, also chipping in 2 rebounds and 2 assists. Dude, Malachi Branham might be the truth, man. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter one day.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is that I want him on this team. I need him on this team. Spurs got him out of Ohio State in the first round back in 2022.
Look at our good friend here, the show, Drew.
Yeah.
Look what he says.
He says less than 1 year of Udoka. He has imprinted his personality on those kids at Houston. Same with Pop, but it's an old tired man. Garbage team except Wemby. You know, the Spurs have a few other pieces that are worth having. Our good friend Matt Lermo was on Twitter earlier this morning, and we go back and forth about like the whole skipping steps thing, right? And I didn't like his tweet today because I think that it was a little bit condescending in a way. I don't think he was trying to be, but I just think that it said something to the effect of, you all make it sound like the Spurs aren't going to get free agents this year. Of course the Spurs are going to get free agents this year. Every team gets free agents. My response back in a quote retweet was, will those free agents be of any significance? Are they going to be Seti Osmans? Are they going to be those kinds of free agents? Is it going to be the Doug McDermotts of the world? Or is it going to be someone who's going to be actually starting with the team? A guy that can start the 1 or the 3? Because right now, the Spurs have the 2, 4, and 5 locked down. We need the 1 and 3. We need a point guard. We need a small forward because it ain't Keldon. I like Keldon off the bench. If we need a trade for somebody, it's going to be Keldon that's going to be gone. We need a 1 and a 3.
Yeah.
Spurs potentially have 2 first-round draft picks this year.
We do have some results now from our poll that I started for the viewers. We always like to get interactive with you guys and started a poll. Tomorrow we'll have the return of the wheel. We'll do something cool with the wheel. But right now I asked the question, are the Spurs on the clock with Wemby? Does the team have to win to keep Wemby in SA? 75% of our viewers say yes. 25% say no.
Yeah, and the Spurs are on the clock. And I made this point with Carolina Teague yesterday, with Jesus with Teague here on this show. If the Spurs go out there and don't do anything this offseason other than pick up spare parts to round out the roster, I like City Osman, for example. But if they're going to get that caliber type of player in free agency and not go get a Trae Young type of player, go out there and get a Pascal Siakam type of player, it doesn't have to be an all-star, but somebody who's close to an all-star. Let's say Devin Vassell level area, right? So if the tier 1s are the Wembys and Giannis's of the world, and the tier 2s are the Trae Youngs of the world, and the tier 3s are the Devin Vassells, if we're not getting a tier 3, and we're just getting these tiers 5, 6, and 7 of the world, and the Spurs go out there and win just 28, 30 games next year and have a losing record, who's that an indictment of? It's an indictment on Pop. It would be an indictment of Brian Wright. And I think Spurs fans have to all come around to that, because that doesn't make me a hater. That doesn't make me a hater. It's just one of those things where I look at it and I think to myself, how long are we going to go on with this in Pop we trust type of thing? Because at the end of the year, no matter how much better the Spurs have been playing as of late, this is the worst record the Spurs have ever had in 51 years. And if we only improve by 5 or 10 games, by the way, if we improve by 5 or 10 games next year or 15 games, it's still a losing record. It's still nowhere near the play-in tournament.
No.
The Spurs are on the clock. And that's where I was going with the conversation, because people will always say, well, the national media doesn't follow this team. And because they don't follow this team, they don't know as much as the local media. And I'm calling BS.
You know who else is calling
There's
BS?
a reason. Do you know who knows about stuff? Like, you really need to pay attention to? Brian Windhorst. Brian Windhorst knows everything.
Too bad they can't fit that motherfucker in his square, dude. He's always spilling out of his square.
And there's a reason why Adrian Wojnarowski knows everything. Why does Woj know everything and not San Antonio Express News? Why does Woj get that bomb, not San Antonio Express News?
You know why?
Why does why does Doris Burke know more than local media? It's because the national media gets the rumblings, and they get, you know, the national media knows, they know the agents. And if anybody knows the true relationship that's going on, that knows the true feelings of somebody, it is the agents, and the agents are the ones, and their people, their family members are the ones that leak it all out.
Hey, we got a comment here from Christopher Leha. What's up, Chris? Thanks for watching, man. He said, motherfuckers really want to keep the same team or draft. This current team ain't it. And adding more rookies ain't going to help next year.
100% agree, Chris Leha. 100% agree.
This team is booty crumbs, man. Except for a few holdovers you might keep. The rest of them can go, man. This team ain't it, dude.
Yeah, you know, Pop said we're going to see what kind of team we have, right?
I think they found out.
Well, you know, here's what we found out.
But trust the process. You know, you have those factions of fans that say trust the process.
Well, I think the belief is that if you stay together longer, you're going to suddenly develop into a winner, and that's not it. That is never it. You know, you might get better, but you're never going to be a championship team starting from 20. You know, there's no such thing as a team that goes from 18 wins to 50 wins, staying together and staying the same. There's always got to be something in there that is a free agent, that is a trade, or something along the way, or a generational talent. The Spurs got the generational talent, but it goes beyond all that. And I'm looking at the Spurs roster right now. If you're going to say we're going to find out what we have, we found out there's certain players on this team that don't belong on this team. Julian Champagny is trash. He is doing nothing out there. Sohan is a good number 4 option. Wemby is a generational talent. Trey Jones belongs as a backup. Devin Vassell is a solid player. 9 of 19 last night, 22 points. Zach Collins is trash. City Osman, you know, I can go with or without. I don't mind him. Keldon Johnson, I mean, I like Keldon. He has a motor. I like him. He's undersized. Malachi Branham is showing that he belongs in this league. Malachi Branham, 26 minutes last night. By the way, can somebody answer me this question? Again, I was at the Toyota Center with my dad, sitting on the 5th row. It was a game time decision to know whether or not Wemby was going to play last night. The Spurs, with about 5 or 6 minutes before the clock runs out and then they start doing the national anthem, I was watching Wemby, and the Spurs were hitting his shoulder. They were like slapping down on it like repeatedly. Yeah. Repeatedly. Dude, Wemby was wincing.
He's probably sore, man.
He was wincing. And then he walked off the side of the court while the rest of the team was practicing. 5-6 minutes to go, they kept on slapping him on the top of the shoulder like that. And he was wincing, like in pain. Then he made his way. He sat down. I looked at my dad. I was like, I don't know if he's going to play. And then 3 minutes to go in the second quarter, he walks right by me and my dad going into the locker room. I don't normally see that. He came back to play in the third quarter. There is something amiss. Dare I say he should probably miss some time. Miss a couple of games or so, get right. And he struggled yesterday. Is it possible that he struggled yesterday because he was in pain?
Maybe. Well, we got a $5 super chat from the Drew Show here.
Drew says, Mike Finger of the Express News, we haven't had a competent local reporter since Johnny Ludden. If you know, Spurs Insider Podcast, my ass, Mike Finger. Wow. I should probably read these first before reading them out there. Apologies, Mike Finger. Okay, apologies. Garrett is reaching out to us with a Euro super chat. You aren't a hater, Mike, he says. You care, feel free, need to move on and make tough decisions that some people won't like, but if those decisions make us a winner, then do it. That's exactly it. Now I'm looking at the Spurs salaries for the next few seasons. We've got some people that we can move along, right? The Spurs payroll right now, 24-25 season next year. We've got some. Let me ask you these questions right here. Who's the highest paid Spur next year? It's Devin Vassell.
Devin Vassell.
29 million. Dude, he's going from an increase of 5.8 million this year to 29.35 million. That is 5 times more income he's going to be getting that next year. Then it's Keldon Johnson at 19. You've got Victor Wembanyama at 12.8. There's a non-fully guaranteed amount for Devontae Graham. So if the Spurs want to save part of the cap, they can do something with Devontae Graham. Trey Jones entering his final season with the Spurs, unless they're going to re-up him, $9 million next year. Zach Collins is going to get a double in salary. His contract, his new contract hasn't even started yet. He's going from $7 million this year to $16.7 next year.
Jeez. We got
CD is a free agent at the end of the year, and the Spurs have team options on Sohan, team options on Malachi Branham, a team option on Blake Wesley, and then we have a non-guaranteed contract for Charles Bassey. We've got Mamu, who's going to be a free agent. He'll be gone, and then CD is under contract for next season. So the Spurs have. So let's count them: Keldon, Wemby, Trey, Zach, Devin, Jeremy, Malachi, Blake Wesley, CD. We got 9 players there that are pretty much guaranteed a roster spot unless they get traded.
We got a $5 super chat here from Midtown, Texas. He's saying Mike wants to bench Wemby. You heard it here first. And you know what?
Yeah, I kind of do. I think he needs to sit out a game or two and heal up a bit.
And you know what? Since this is going to be the first time that I've seen a super chat come in from him, I think that's worthy of a celebration, man. Let's go ahead and look to see if I can find my fireworks thing again. I'm looking for it right now. It eludes me right now.
The Spurs are in the midst of a 3-game road trip. They've got Sacramento. They've got Golden State. Hopefully the Spurs can turn it around. But, man, Wemby did not look right yesterday. He didn't look right. Thank you again to my new son, Jeremy Sohan, for going out there and having some balls to go up against Amen Thompson and not back down. And also throw him not 1, not 2, but 3 kisses along the way. And that got me amped up. By the way, I met a member of Spurs Twitter yesterday, Josh Too Jolly. And I didn't realize that when I was buying these tickets for the Spurs last night, that Section 101 is all about Spurs fans. Really? I did not realize
Section 101.
Apparently, those who are that in the know, and I did not know that if you are a Spurs fan and you're going to Houston, you go to Section 101. Section 101 was probably 75-80% Spur fan. It was very reminiscent of when you go to a college football game and the road team has that one section where everybody's in. Dude, everybody in my section had a Spurs jersey except for homeboy in the McGrady jersey in front of me. But I made him laugh, and I pissed him off, but I made him laugh when I said Spurs legend, former Spurs legend Tracy McGrady, and he just gave me a look of like, you jackass.
Look at this from Edmund Ortiz.
He says, I'm defending my fellow media brethren. Just because an objective Spurs beat writer publishes something that doesn't fit a fan's narrative doesn't mean the writer's incompetent. Good Lord. Edmund, thank you so much for that. First of all, I'm going to go back and forth on this, okay? I used to be a journalist. I am not a journalist anymore, right? I used to be a writer. I wrote columns from time to time with the San Antonio Express News back in the day. It was more of the entertainment section than anything else. I was a TV news reporter here in San Antonio for 5 years. I was a TV news producer here for 7 years. I was a sports producer here for 2 years and a news editor for 2 years. And I was also a news reporter in Corpus Christi. Back in the day, I used to be a journalist. Back in the day, I used to go to games and do post-game interviews with the Spurs, the Oilers, the Cowboys, whatever the case may be. And I don't do that anymore. I do not consider myself to be a journalist. I do not consider myself to be an insider. I'm just a fan with a microphone. It's a microphone that Joe Garcia gave me. So if you ever get pissed off and like, who is this mother effer? Why does he have a platform? It's because, Joe, you invited me to have this platform.
Yeah.
Okay. I am literally right now in your house.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a guest in your home. But Edmund, the thing about it is this: is that local sports media is handcuffed. Okay, it is so bad. It's kind of like the way Dak Prescott has the Dallas Cowboys bent over with a no trade clause, with the massive salary cap hit, a dead money hit, with all of that stuff. The Spurs have local media bent over. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it's TV station, newspaper, it doesn't matter because they're the only show in town. And they also have the ability to tell certain media members that you're not invited here. And although Pop pisses people off with his politics, left, right, I agree with a lot of what Pop says politically, right? But the dude's a dictator when it comes to what goes on in the Spurs organization and what comes out and what doesn't go out. You saw players like Danny Green and DeJounte Murray come out and go, thank God we're no longer here. We enjoyed being in San Antonio. The people in San Antonio are great. The Spurs fans are great. But my God, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do a podcast. I couldn't do this, that, and the other.
Spurs PR at its finest.
And the Spurs, they get mad. You know, people get mad when I call it the People's Republic of the Spurs because it's like a Chinese crackdown on things. And if anybody from KSAT or KENS or OAI or San Antonio Express News really does their job, they will not be allowed there anymore.
Yeah.
And that is why it's a small market thing.
Small market mentality. You know, pulling the curtain back a little bit. A lot of these, let's say, podcasters, live streamers here in San Antonio or anywhere around the nation, really, they always think, hey, man, I need to go ahead and get these media credentials because then I've made it. That's a lie. Because when you get media credentials, there's various grades of media credentials. For example, San Antonio Spurs media credentials are a perfect example of that. Everybody wants to get the coveted Spurs media credential. And if you get it, you can just sit down in the media area. That's like tier 1.
Right.
You know, then you get to the higher tier, like Jeff Garcia, for example. Not everyone is invited to go and get that extra pass to be able to go down to the media area that they have after the games to ask the players and Coach Pop questions. That's reserved for a certain elite personnel. So it's like you don't really have to nowadays going out and say, oh, I need this media credential. That's just for show. Basically, anybody can cover the team. You can cover the team from the seats.
Yeah.
Just watching the game, having fun.
And there's two different sides of it. And one of the things that I go back to, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Joe. By the way, we're looking at highlights courtesy of Bally Sports. Spurs taking on the Rockets last night at the Toyota Center. I was sitting right there on the 5th row, pissed off. Official number 37 was doing good job. Female official, 58 was awful. That dude was the worst official I've seen. But you know, Rob Thompson from San Antonio Sports Star was doing a show with me one time, and it was I don't think I was doing his show. I think I was doing my show over there, and he was kind of co-hosting with me. And I said, Rob, I'm not media. Even though I was on a TV station, a radio station rather at the time, and I was talking sports on a daily basis, I'm not a media. I'm not. I am simply a Spurs fan, an NFL fan, a Saints fan, a UTSA Roadrunner fan, a Texas Longhorn fan who just happens to have a microphone. Am I an expert in anything? No. But the fact of the matter is that the people who complain about the opinions of podcasters want their opinions validated.
Yeah.
But they have no other credentials than I do.
Exactly.
But the one thing that I do have is that I have lived in locker rooms. I have lived in Spurs locker rooms. I have lived in UT Longhorn locker rooms. Dude, I used to always interview Ricky Williams when he played for UT. I used to always interview David Robinson and a rookie Tim Duncan, and I'd go over there and do that. I'd interview some of these big name players, not from a podium, be right there. They'd be basically in a towel, and I used to interview them every night, every Spurs home game, every UT football game. I live that life. I don't live that life anymore. I don't want to live that life anymore.
Yeah.
I like being a Spurs fan who likes to just talk about this team from the perspective that I have.
Yeah, and watch the game with your daughter or your
My
nephews,
dad,
your
my
dad,
nephews.
you know.
And I'm fortunate enough to be able to be in a financial position where I'm able to do that, and I'm a big Spur fan. And and we have to understand that even if I don't want Pop to be the head coach of this team, that doesn't mean I don't think he's on the Mount Rushmore of coaching. Of course he is. He's one of the 4 greatest coaches of all time. If you want to say that he's the GOAT, great. But you know what? The GOATs aren't always great when they walk out the door. They were great at some point. He hit his apex. 2014 was his apex. It was never going to get any better than that. And it just has gotten consistently worse. And now we have to ask ourselves the question, what happens to the Spurs now that they've won back-to-back games? I mentioned this the other day. They won back-to-back in January, then lost 12 out of 13. The national media, whether you like to admit it or not, knows more about what Wemby is thinking and doing than the local media do. Why? Because they have access to his agent. They have access to his people. They have access to his family. Do you think Brian? Okay. Who do you think has more connections towards Wemby right now when it comes to his family and his people? Mike Finger or Brian Windhorse?
Probably Brian Windhorse.
Or Woj. Or any of these guys, the Adam Schefters of the world. I mean, I know that's football, but still, they know more. Shams, they know more because they get it from an unfiltered source.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That is the thing. Spurs, again, fall short. Alperen Sengun, my goodness. Imagine having him instead of Josh Primo. Good God.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play this quick little excerpt here for our fans, just to go ahead and entice them. If y'all are watching the show and you're enjoying what you're seeing, please hit that like button.
Do it and do it now.
And make sure you subscribe.
Like button and subscribe. That was kind of funny. Hey, James Molina does a interesting question here or comment here. It's further up right there. It's on the individual. We just need more Buck Harveys that have a spine. Dude, Buck Harvey was a great columnist back in the day for the Express News. And was he the Express News or San Antonio Light? I always forget. He's one of those two back in the day when we had 2 papers. And Buck Harvey, I would read every day, and the guy had the balls to say what was on his mind. Weird thing is that when I met him in the late 90s, I met him a few times. You never want to meet your heroes. He was my local media hero along with Greg Simmons. Greg Simmons was good to me. But Buck Harvey, what I found out later on was that he was kind of socially weird, socially awkward, which is weird because he's a journalist and he's talking to people, interviewing them. But when he was not in a work setting, Buck was kind of, you might take it as him being rude. You might take him as being aloof, but really what it was, now that I think about it, now that I'm older, I didn't take it well when I was young.
Yeah.
I took it that he was snubbing me, that he was being a jerk. But now that I think about it years later, and I mentioned Ricky Williams, because Ricky Williams, I've gotten to know Ricky Williams a lot better. Tall tale.
Oh, Lord.
Tall tale. He's my brother-in-law is one of his best friends.
Oh, nice.
And Ricky has spent time with my family, me and my kids. Very nice man. I've talked to him about him being on TV, what he should be doing from the perspective of a sports producer. I spoke to Ricky a year ago. I was like, "Hey, remember I was like, Renee is my brother-in-law," and Ricky was like, "Oh, I love Renee."
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But what I saw with Buck Harvey is that you're some people are just socially awkward, that they need to warm up to you before they trust talking to you. And I kind of felt like I had that with Buck Harvey. Sam Salinas reaching out saying Express News, same, loved reading Buck. He was great, dude. He was fantastic. I'm glad that somebody brought up Buck Harvey because I miss him. There was good journalism on the newspaper side back in the day when they weren't afraid of him, when they weren't afraid of Pop, when they weren't afraid of the Spurs organization. James Molina says, I remember when Buck was after the Spurs, after Bob Hill was fired. He was fire and brimstone. Buck said what it was on his mind, dude, and again, was he a journalist or was he more of a fan? He was kind of somewhere in the middle of the two, but very, very cool.
Hey, so let's go ahead and give some love to our good friend here, Jeff Garcia. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Again, follow Jeff Garcia on Locked On Spurs at Jeff G Spurs Zone.
What are they talking
on Twitter
about today?
And YouTube. By the way, I am the guest today.
Oh, really?
Locked On Spurs. We're talking about reasons why the Spurs have shown some improvement. But I'm looking at an article that he posted just 45 minutes ago on Kens5.com. And it says, the headline says, quote, Trae Young says he envisions himself staying in Atlanta. There's been speculation that Young could land in San Antonio next season. So let me ask you this question, Joe.
Yeah.
You think Trae Young is telling the truth, or is this maybe public relations?
I don't know.
Oh, wait, no. It's only the truth if the Spurs says it, right? But if it's another,
you don't believe in Wemby.
But if it's another player from a different team that says something, he's got to be lying, right? He's got to be lying. Again, there's been speculation about Atlanta's Trae Young and where he's going to be. All those rumors coming out of Atlanta saying that he's not mixing well with DeJounte Murray. Where is he going to go? Then the speculation was, All-Star Weekend, he's sitting next to Victor Wembanyama. He's fielding questions from the media asking about Wemby, and they're asking the question, what does he need to be more successful? And he's describing a player that's exactly like himself to be out there. But
what did Russell Wilson say about a week ago? He wanted to retire as a Bronco, and then what happened?
Exactly.
They let him go.
Exactly. But he does an interview with Bleacher Report, and he says, I want to win. If that's in Atlanta, that's where I want to be. Again, talking about the trade rumors. You can read this article right now on Kens5.com,
yeah, but you know what?
By Hefed, Jeff Garcia.
You were talking about, do we believe Trae Young? I don't remember having Trae Young actual video footage of him saying, I don't trust that person, or him saying something to that effect.
The whole point I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I'm just making fun of you.
All this is that all of this is public relations.
Oh, I get that.
And it also keeps the trade value up. So that's what I'm saying when I say I don't trust certain any athlete when they do an interview, is because now if they're doing a podcast and they're the one hosting it, that's their own personal opinion. I kind of believe that more. That's like a Draymond Green type of guy. But Trae Young saying he envisions himself staying in Atlanta. Bull crap. You know he doesn't envision himself being there long term.
He's a gun for hire, bro. He's going to go for the highest bidder.
The rumors are there for a reason.
Yeah.
So if he is saying half-truths, what's to say that a Spurs don't say the same thing? What's to say that if a Spur, like say Victor Wembanyama, comes out and says, I like playing for Pop, what else is he gonna say? Oh, we don't skip steps. I'm okay with the 4-year real build. Well, did you hear what he said? Well, didn't you just hear right now what Trae Young had to say about wanting to stay in Atlanta? Dude, it is all PR. It's all bull crap.
Oh, you know what else we got to do? We got to go ahead and play a little ad intro as well for give some love to Chris Leha here of MCS General Contracting. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. Oh, you know what? I forgot to switch. Now we can play it. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
MCS General Contracting has been a sponsor of the show from the get-go. And Chris Leha is going to be doing a before and after photo of what's going on at my house, because the plan is that between now and mid-April or so, MCS is going to come over and do some stuff at my house. Now, Chris came over the other day. He went to inspect to make sure that Duncan, my husky, was fine. Happy to report Duncan's still alive. Okay. And is healthy. Now, Chris was being attacked by my two big dogs, dude. He was
jumping all over.
Yeah, Cody and Duncan were after him. But Chris was coming out and envisioning what we could do with my backyard, because I've had some erosion. I don't have gutters, and it's eroded, and the dogs have been digging out, and now the sprinkler system's all jacked up and all that stuff. And he's coming in going, Michael, here's what I envision. We get this all checked out. You know, we reattach. We get somebody over here to reattach the sprinkler system.
Mm-hmm.
We cap it. We put a sidewalk on top. Maybe we put a landing, some stairs, a concrete sidewalk. You know, the dogs can't get out. It's going to make the yard look a lot better. He showed that, you know, that there's a big drop off between my porch and the backyard. He goes, we need some steps there, at least one step or a landing, to kind of make it easier to get down. It's not only easier for my guests, but also for the dogs as well. And he's going on and on about all the different things that we can do. He goes, I got a guy who does gutters. We can get you gutters. Okay. I got a guy who's an electrician. We could do some electrical work outside if you need some electrical work. And so it's beyond the concrete placement. Now, his company will do the concrete placement and the concrete work, the sidewalk and stuff like that. But when it comes to my house, I'm telling him I need other things. And he goes, I got guys who can do that. He knows guys.
Chris helped me the other day because I needed to have somebody come out and look at my outdoor breaker box, right?
Right.
We didn't have my AC working, right? The AC just quit all of a sudden. Even the panel wouldn't come on. So it'd been like that for maybe a week or so, and I've been trying to fix it here and there, changing the panels out and all that. Finally got tired. It was going to start getting hot, and the wife's like, that's enough. We got to get this fixed. So I call my boy Chris Leha. I tell him, do you know an electrician? He goes, I got you, man. I'm going to send you my guy tomorrow morning. The guy shows up on time, comes in here, fixes the issue with like in 10, 15 minutes.
Wow.
Out the door. Happy wife, happy life. AC's back working again. Thank you, Chris Leha. If you need anything, make sure you go hit my boy up, man. He'll take care of you.
People who know people.
Yep.
That is the thing. Again, Chris Leha with MCS General Contracting. Thank you for being a sponsor of this show. Who
won the bracket? That's what they're asking.
Well, before we go on to that, I saw this earlier. If you want to show my screen.
Sure.
TMZ has video.
Do we need the entertainment bump?
No, this is not entertainment necessarily. This is kind of sad. TMZ has something about Miami Heat forward Haywood Highsmith, who was an undrafted rookie many years ago, worked his way through the G League, came into the NBA, and it shows him visibly shaken after an accident that happened at 11:20 p.m. on February 6th. I'm going to play this right here. Police are asking him questions, and he is freaking out the entire time. He struck a man who was on the side of the road helping somebody else out. Guy lost a leg.
Oh, man.
And now this Miami Heat player is being sued for it all. Again, his name is Haywood Highsmith. He's a kind of a role player for the Miami Heat. This was after a game on February 6th. He was on his way home, and police believe he was distracted driving. And he ran into a 21-year-old who was on the side of the road helping a stranded motorist in the middle of the roadway. So middle of the roadway, right? Caused serious injuries. Highsmith is said to have been consoled by a woman on the scene. And again, police are still investigating this. As to the charges and whatnot, kind of unknown, but that's kind of crazy, man. Kind of crazy how that all happened. Crazy story. So, question about the bracket. Let's go ahead and do the entertainment bump on this one. I think this is deserving of it.
Okay, let's go ahead and get that going.
Baddie brackets, baby, are in full effect. And the question is, who is going to advance? So we have new ones coming out right now. About an hour and a half ago, I put out new baddie brackets. You could vote on this on MJ Acquired Taste on Twitter. But the question becomes, what about the last one? So the last brackets that we had involved old school crushes. Old school crushes, right? And the winners so far, or the winners, actually, the official winners of it all, old school crushes. I'm scrolling down to get the winning votes here. Tiffany Amber Thiessen, welcome to the Sweet 16.
Nice.
She was Kelly Kapowski back in the day on Saved by the Bell. She was also a vixen on Beverly Hills 90210. She will be joined by Lacey Chabert, who was in Mean Girls, Party of Five back in the day, who did not advance, who finished in last place in this pod. Again, this pod is of 4 hotties. We're trying to find out who the ultimate hottie is in the year 2024. We have different categories based on things. Danielle Fishel finished last. Let me tell you who Danielle Fishel is. I think people just don't know her name, but they know who she is. I bet you if I had just simply said
Topanga,
it is Topanga, she would have won, or at least been in the top 2. But she didn't. She's still smoking hot. But Danielle Fishel, as they would say on TNT's NBA coverage, she's gone fishing. She's not advancing. Danica McKellar, who was Winnie Cooper back in the day, also is gone fishing as well. Now, man, this was a tough one. Jennifer Love Hewitt's also been knocked out.
Oh,
she's
man.
a first round knockout. She's a knockout herself,
Done.
but she's done. She's done from the draw.
What about
so is Megan Fox, also eliminated.
Wow.
Advancing to the Sweet 16. The billionaire herself, the Latina billionaire, Jessica Alba.
Bounced?
No, she advanced.
Oh, nice. Okay. I was going to say
Hillary Duff also advanced.
Okay.
So what I have found so far in our voting, again, we have about 100 people voting per one. The listeners of this show, the people who follow me on Twitter, they like Latinas and they like ass.
That little junk in the trunk, bro.
So Latina, Jessica Alba. Ass, Hillary Duff.
Hey, look at Fernandez. He gave us a hashtag. March Badness. I love it. I love it.
Oh, dude, I hate it when dude, that was a good one, dude. that might beat baddie brackets. I'm gonna start using that right there.
March Badness. They're demanding Rhea Ripley, Mike.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add another pod for like people who are coming out saying you forgot this person, you forgot that person. But about an hour ago, I posted the wrestling hotties.
Christopher Leah. It's Hillary. You raggedy mofo. Say it right. Alba has my vote. That's what David Outwater's saying.
So we have 22 hours left in the voting for the wrestling hotties. In one pod, we have Zelina Vega, Trish Stratus, Tiffany Stratton, and Samantha Irvin. Right now, Trish Stratus is running away with it now.
I saw that.
But the other three, Zelina Vega, Tiffany Stratton, Samantha Irvin, all have legit chances of advancing. Again,
what about Marissa Tomei?
Marissa Tomei got knocked out by Sofia Vergara.
God.
Sofia Vergara beat her by 2 votes, man.
Really?
By just 2 votes. Now, on the other pod, we have Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Bianca Blair, and Sky Blue.
I bet I know who's winning.
Who do you think?
Sasha Banks.
Nope. Alexa Bliss is
Alexa
right now.
Bliss.
Old
Wow.
Old school. Alexa Bliss is winning right now. She currently has 36% of the vote. But again, there's 22 more hours of voting involved. We're going to find out who the hottie is of hotties. Dude, the one who's gotten the highest percent of votes of the pod that they've been in,
Who?
Salma Hayek.
Wow. She's probably going to advance. Dude, it's going to be hard to top her off.
Dude, I think Salma Hayek might be a Final Four.
I think so
kind of
too,
person.
man.
Like if I had to predict the Final Four,
the viewers like a certain type. You can already tell. You know?
Paige Sporonic is going to be up there.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You're good friends, Paige Sporonic.
Paige Sporonic. I've held her lower back before. I think one of my fingers protruded outward because that's where the booty began.
Cochino.
Didn't wash my
Demon
hand for
time.
a week. Demon time.
No.
You know, Salma Hayek is a 1 seed. I think Sydney Sweeney's a 1 seed. I think Paige Sporonic is an overall 1 seed. My
Christopher Lee.
Yanette Garcia. Is she the other 1 seed? She can't be because she's in the same bracket as Paige Sporonic.
They're getting mad at you for the mispronunciation. They say it's Belair.
Oh, shut up. It's wrestling. It's wrestling.
Oh man. Say it right, Mike.
Chris Lay,
Belair.
what does Chris Lay say about Samantha Irvin?
Oh, there it is. Samantha Irvin is fucking bad. You could see that ass from 12 rows back. Oh, man.
Again, go to Twitter, MJ Acquired Taste, and get your votes in. Again, Alexa Bliss and Trish Stratus. So we have to ask the question tomorrow when we begin the show, what's going to be the new poll? Like who's going to be the next one that we've got to do? Because I think that we got to do the quirky girls next. The quirky girls. So let's discuss who the quirky girls are, and we'll do this one tomorrow. The quirky girls that I have so far are Zooey Deschanel, Anna Kendrick, Aubrey Plaza, AT&T Lily, Taylor Tomlinson, Nikki Glazer, Haley Williams of Paramore.
Oh, your girl.
And Emma Stone. Now, my problem with quirky is that there's no Latina quirky and there's no African-American quirky or Asian quirky. So I need some nominees out there so that I can knock out one of these white chicks. Not that I'm opposed to white girls. I'm just saying I don't like a category where all 8 of them are. Or does quirky mean being white?
It could be like a comedian, for example. There's a Latina comedian. What's her name? That one girl, Angela. I won't forget her last name.
Angela Johnson?
I think so. I think it was Angela Johnson. She's
cute.
She's cute.
She was a Raiderette.
Yeah.
Chris Gonzalez asking about Allison Brie from the TV show Community. She was also in Mad Men. That's a great one. I love her. But we need to find out. We have a new one here. Who's DA Gaming?
He says, Gaming. Yo, MJ, where are you from in the Philippines?
Oh, I'm not from the Philippines. But my daughter, her side of the family is. So my daughter, my first ex-wife, she her family's from the Philippines. They are about an hour and a half outside of Manila. Apparently, it's like a 40 minute plane ride over there. And by the way, as people are asking here, we're not having porn stars on this thing. Okay. We're talking about celebrities, not OnlyFans people and not porn stars. Okay. Where's Jenna Ortega again? That's a good question. I couldn't figure out whether Jenna Ortega should be on the quirky list or should she be on the Hollywood starlet list. Maybe I move her to the quirky side because she is kind of quirky, as Wednesday on that show.
If you do, she's going to be the solid favorite to win.
I might have to move her over, man, because the starlet ones is rough, dude. It's murderous row. It's like the 1930s Yankees lineup, dude. It is not fair, dude. Okay, look at this as a lineup right now. Ana de Armas, Scarlett Johansson, Margot Robbie, Gal Gadot, How do you get them all in one bracket? See, I mean, they're all heavy hitters, dude. Dallas Bryce Howard on that ass that you can see from 12 rows back, as Chris says. Jennifer Lawrence. Those names there. The pop star division. I keep moving names in and out, man. Dua Lipa's got to be in there. Casey Musgraves, who did the performance on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I got.
By the way, both of the songs she sang there were amazing. Casey Musgraves is smoking hot, but it's one of those ones where if you were to say, is she on your top 5 list, it's kind of hard to say so. But the more I look at her, the more I fall in love with Casey Musgraves. She's elegant, she's beautiful, dude. Casey Musgraves. I mean, here's a photo of her standing next to Sydney Sweeney. I find that to be fascinating because Sydney Sweeney, again, here's a photo of the two of them. I mean, Sydney Sweeney, the 1 overall seed, but standing right next to Casey Musgraves. She ain't no slouch, dude.
Yeah.
She ain't no slouch. You go into a bar, those two girls are there. You're not going to say that Sydney Sweeney is that much hotter than Casey Musgraves. Some might actually prefer a leggier Casey Musgraves. Interesting. Matt Lerma says, if Bose isn't on the influencer one, you're crazy. I have no idea who Bose is.
I think it's because you were saying, what's that girl's name? That streamer. What was her name? Sniper Wolf.
Yeah, I'm debating that one.
Take her off, man.
I'm debating that one. So no, but Sniper Wolf is crazy hot, dude.
She crazy too.
Daniel Castro reaching out to us. Go to 2 box there. Daniel Castro coming out saying Mike got the blue chew kicking in early today
because of the baddie bracket talk.
March Badness.
Charlie's Theron didn't make the list.
Still rounding out that one, man. Charlize Theron is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. If we were having this bracket 5 years ago, she would have been like a 1 or a 2 seed.
Yeah.
But very much like Greg Popovich, has seen better days.
Shit, we should have reached out to Blue Chew or something to see if they wanted to sponsor the baddie bracket sponsored by Blue Chew.
So again, if you have people that you would like to nominate, and again, I want you to nominate people who can actually win, okay? Not just a mid name. Sean Quintero reaches out and says, Mike's about to take another bathroom break. Dude, that was the first time I've ever done that, man.
Sean Quintero called you out. Mike went to go rub one out real quick. Come back. You're going to start saying, it's a little warm in here, Joe. Did you turn on the AC?
Don't forget to buy us a coffee. You can hit the QR code in the top left, buy me a coffee. That's a tip that goes straight to the fund that keeps the Alamo City Podcast Network going.
Yeah.
Don't forget to visit our website, AlamoCityPodcastNetwork.com. And don't forget, Rudy Campos Jr. gets going at 2:00 with Sweep the League. We need to get Rudy Campos in here on the show so we can cross promote.
I already talked to him yesterday. Today actually. So next Wednesday he's coming in, and I got to get with El Jefe, Jeff Garcia, make sure he's going to be good to go for tomorrow. And it's going to be Throwback Thursday. So my friend, you're going to bring up the topic for Throwback Thursday.
Oh, do I get to choose it right now?
You get to choose it right now. What do you want to talk about for a Throwback Thursday?
You know what? I'm going to throw a curveball into all of this because last night I was driving back from Houston and, went to the game over there at the Toyota Center. Coming back, I was with my dad. And it's one of those things where, when you're driving the car with your parents, you don't want to play your music necessarily.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have to kind of pick and choose your battles because they're not going to be vibing to what you're vibing to.
Common ground.
Right. We kind of found a common ground in old country music. Now I'm saying old country music. I'm talking about like Brooks and Dunn, George Strait, basically 88 to 99 country music.
A decade.
Just a country vibe of, the Garth Brookses of the world, the Clint Blacks. That's what we were vibing to on the way back home. So let's go ahead and talk about some country music. Oh, we have a good one there. Chris Gonzalez is out and says Rashida Jones for Nerd Bracket. Again, it's called Quirky. But I like Rashida Jones. She was great in Parks and Rec.
I look at
Garrett wants to know when we're going to have our international flavor. The problem is that we don't know who a lot of these people are, man. Dua Lipa, does that count? Dua Lipa's from Europe.
our international hotties.
Now, from the Netherlands, from their perspective, when we start talking about American hotties,
He has pointed out some hot women.
Well, I mean, I know there's hot women
like,
all over
wow,
the world, but
Gert been holding out on us, man. European hotties is what he's looking
European
at.
hotties?
Yeah, bro. That's a different breed, man. They're nice.
Think Dua Lipa makes it to the Sweet 16?
I think so, man. She's got the legs to do it.
Her dance moves have gotten a little bit better.
Oh, God.
Dude, when she first came
She
out,
ain't got to do nothing but just stand there, bro. She don't got to dance.
I'm going to play one of her music videos from back in the day.
Oh, God.
Dude, Dua Lipa, when she first came out, was hot. But it's the new rules. There it is.
I get it.
One of her first albums. And by the way, I'll turn off the audio on this one as well.
Yeah, we don't want to get popped by that one. We always got the ads, though, man.
Okay, so this is the new rules video from 6 years ago, right? This was before Future Nostalgia and all that made her big. She was cute, but she wasn't the one seed that she is now. Who would have thought that 6 years later she'd be a potential one seed? But my favorite part of this song, my favorite part of this video is the bad dancing. It has the worst dancing I've ever seen for a music video. Look at this. What is this crap? What is this crap? This is an awful video. But Garrett from the Netherlands, isn't this Europe in itself? Isn't this very European to you? Very public access TV.
Public access. Oh, God.
Dude, this is such a bad music video. Her at the pool. It's not even dancing. It's just walking. This is such a bad video. But Dua Lipa has grown into a one seed. Such a bad video. You had never seen this before?
No, man. Never seen this before.
Yeah. And then like 3 years later, she comes out with Levitating and she's a freaking nugget. Then she comes out with this, dude. She comes out with this, and then she becomes nuggified. Nugget. Look at this bad dancing in the elevator. They don't even show her legs because it's so bad. But my goodness. Dua Lipa, bound for the Sweet 16. We're going to make this happen. James Molina reaches out to us on our YouTube stream and says, Pam over Karen on The Office for hotties. Okay, Pam. Really, we're going to go with Pam. We're going to go with plain Pam. Now, Pam in that movie Blades of Glory with Will Ferrell, she brought it there with that lingerie thing where she's trying to seduce Will Ferrell. Michael Michaels, was that his name?
That's such a great movie, dude. That movie's so freaking stupid. It's funny as hell, man.
Chris Gonzalez is now asking the question, what about Mila Kunis? No, I canceled her, man. The world has canceled basically 80% of the cast of that 70s show. Jeez. After she stood up for the rapist that was her former Danny Masterson.
Her husband's name?
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher, yeah.
When they stood up for Danny Masterson and then they had that half-ass apology about how they stand behind the victims, but that their friend was a good guy and they knew good things about him.
Yeah, that was so bad. That take was so bad. They even had to go ahead and bow out of their nonprofit. You know, they had to rescind that and be like, oh, we're not going to be involved with it anymore.
That is brutal, dude. So Mila Kunis is dead to me. I mean, have you noticed nothing's come out about her in a while?
Yeah, or Ashton Kutcher. They've been silenced.
They have been
silenced.
That 70s show was one of my favorites.
I don't watch it no more.
That was a great show, but I can't watch it anymore.
Yeah, man.
Because you look back at that show right now, Danny Masterson was a rapist on that show. More than likely, Wilmer Valderrama allegedly was, or he was at least grooming girls that were teenagers, and he was in his mid to late 20s during that show. You have Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis.
Topher Grace was the only smart one. He moved on. He said, "F this shit.
Yeah.
I'm out."
Topher Grace seems to be like the only one that's funny. That seems to be normal.
Yeah, he said, fuck this shit. I'm out of here, dude."
What's it called? I'm thinking about this one scene in a movie. And I'm sorry for looking up the word sex scene on here, but Laura Linney. You know the actress Laura Linney,
yeah.
older woman. He had a sex scene with her, and I saw an interview with him where he talked about being the most embarrassed he had ever been in his entire life, because you're not supposed to be doing these scenes and getting aroused, but she got on top of him and he got aroused, and then he felt so bad because she looked at him disappointed. Like, we're acting.
We're acting, bro.
Who was the redhead that ended up being on what's it called? Orange is the New Black.
Oh, we got a new subscriber, man. Thanks for subscribing.
Laura Prepon. She seems to be relatively decent of a person.
There we go. Thank you for subscribing, Marco Lynn. We appreciate you, man. So we're probably up now. 732, 733.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out the door. Mr. Z saying, "Go Spurs, go." The takeaway of this show, by the way, is that Spurs need to have a point guard. Spurs need to have a starting point guard. They need to have a starting small forward. And I gave my flowers today to one Jeremy Sohan, and I signed the form. I finally signed the damn
signed
form.
It. There's the autograph.
There it is right there. Now, I didn't check mark the box that says he's a future all-star. I kind of put some of my own notes in there saying,
Mark, I was jealous of Jeremy's hair. I think that's a
I marked off that I checked off in there that he's not soft, because he went up to Amen Thompson, and yes, he tried tripping him on purpose. I don't want to hear this.
He's like, "I'm going to check you, fool."
Yeah, that was done on purpose. I want to think it was done on purpose. But as Garrett says, as we're rounding out the show, Spurs need to get some balls. Hate to say it, man. We need an enforcer. A licky boom boom down.
Coach Pop needs to say, "I want some of that nasty."
Yeah, we got nothing on that team. That's nasty, except for Sohan.
Well, Collins' game is nasty. It's booty crumbs.
Dude, okay, if he's booty crumbs, what is Julian Champagny? Dude, that guy's playing his way out of the league.
He's used toilet paper, brother.
Dude, that guy is pure cardio. Like, I had the exact same stat line as Julian Champagny, except I wasn't on the court.
Mm.
You know, I was 15 feet from him, but I wasn't on the court. Anyway, Spurs back in action against the Kings. They got the Warriors before coming back home. March 12th. By the way, we need to figure out, are we going to do anything for my birthday? Dude, what's going on, man? March 13th. Are we going to have a birthday show next Wednesday? Maybe. That's what I want to know.
I'm going to be celebrating my birthday on the 23rd.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So invites are going to be sent. We're going to invite some of the peeps to come out and have some fun. Leja's on the list. So, yeah, we're going to have fun, drink, listen to music. And my boy, Big Papi Brandon Medina, he's going to be the DJ.
Nice.
Yeah.
He knows his music. Again, don't forget, Sweep the League, 2:00 on this network. Subscribe to that show as well. My name is Mike Jimenez. It's Joe Garcia. Go Spurs, go. Hope everyone has a fantastic hump day. We'll be back tomorrow.
Peace, brothers. We'll see you tomorrow.